Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for making Matt TV a part of your Monday night. Here it is, the 19th day of June, 2017. And yes, I'm sitting down. Look at this, sitting down. Hoop, sitting down. How is everyone tonight? Hello, Nick. How are you? Thank you for joining Matt TV from sunny Florida. I really want to build up the guest here tonight. Oh, boom, 7 people just like that. Just let me refresh my page. Hello, Nick. Hello, Wayne. How are you? Did everyone see, were you able to see the link that I posted on YouTube? I shared the video on my Facebook page. Were you able to see the new intro to Matt TV? Just give me a thumb if you did. Give me a yes. Give me an S, give me an I, give me an M-O-N, Simon. I am first. So, just wondering, did it work? Hello, Simon, how are you? Definitely, just between you and me, Simon, I am keeping you in my thoughts, man. Just unbelievable news. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later for sure. Hello, Heather, how are you? Welcome to the show. Again, just curious, did everyone have the opportunity to see the new Matt TV opening to the show? It was done, put together by a couple of great friends of mine, Simon McGinnis and Joe Desmond. So I'm just wondering, it's on my Facebook page if you want to see the brand new Matt TV show opening. Video montage put together by Simon McGinnis. The theme song written, composed, produced by Joe Desmond. So very thankful for those guys for doing that. Hello, Etienne. How are you? Welcome to the show. Woo! Really cool show tonight. This is my first show in almost a week and a half. And I was on here yesterday morning explaining exactly why that happened. And I'm not going to get into those details tonight. We're going to move on. We are going to move on. Hey, Joe, what's up, brother? I don't know. This is what happened just a few moments ago. I shared my YouTube page, which contains the show opening. So I'm just wondering if people have seen the show opening, and just give me your thoughts, give me your feedback. It was a great project. Myself, Joe Desmond, Simon McGinnis, more the two guys at the end. Simon and Joe really put a lot of work into that. So very, very grateful. Hello, Angie. How are you? Hello, Gloria. Woo! Lots of hellos. Do it again. You can just go, Joe, if you want to see it, you can go to my Facebook page and just click on the link there. It is up on my Facebook page. So it's made its debut. And now you can go to my Facebook page or go to my YouTube page and check it out at your leisure. Thumbs up. That was aces. That was an 11 out of 10, you guys. Hit it out of the ballpark. Yes, check it out after the show. There was really, I was in here about 4 o'clock this afternoon working with my brother Jeff. I had everything on a private setting. I wanted to see if I could post this video while I was live, and for some reason we just weren't able to do it. The technology just is not there yet, but do enjoy the brand new Matt TV opening. I wanted a 80s theme to it, and I think the two guys that worked on it, Joe Desmond, Simon McGinnis, hit it out of the ballpark. Hello, Sarah, how are you? Welcome to the show. Jean, Etienne, welcome to Matt TV for a Monday, the 19th of June, 2017. I'm going to have a special guest in beside me here in a few moments, my father-in-law, Robert Vespaziani. He's just in the kitchen. He's just chilling out with his wife, Sheila, and my wife, Jen. Kai Moon is in there. Honey, Zorro, everyone's here. So he will be sitting beside me here in a few moments. 25 years in the CFL, 54 years coaching. He has a lot to say, and we're going to get to it here in about 10-15 minutes or so. So welcome to the big show. Hello, Ernie. Hello, Carla. Hello, Carrie. A lot of people in here tonight. Loving the turnout. Loving the turnout. So yesterday morning, I was on here quickly. Told you exactly why I did not do any shows last week. I explained that I'm very tied to people's energy, global energy. And the death of Chris Nason last weekend really threw me for a loop, as I know it did a lot of other people in Woodstock. So continuing to send healing vibes and positive vibes to the Nason and Turner family in Woodstock, for sure. Seeing lots of pictures on Facebook tonight. I do believe it is prom season, graduation season. So a lot of great photos, and I'm just going to what's the word I'm looking for? Be very particular, or just a big shout out to my niece Anna, who graduated from NBCC Woodstock today in the photography class. So excited for Anna. She is, and I don't know if she's watching right now, but I've told her many, many times that Anna is by far, one of my most favorite people on the planet. So congratulations, Anna. So happy for you, and so happy for all your friends and family. Good stuff. I expect to see some quality photos, and I did. There were some really nice photos that were taken after the graduation ceremony. And prom season, all the kids are dressed up. So have a safe graduation season. Have a safe summer to all the grads. Hello, Shirley. How are you? Like I was saying yesterday morning, you've gone through 12 years of the education system. Some of you are getting ready to go to post-secondary school. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything silly this summer, especially on social media, that's going to come back and bite you in September. Just behave. Be smart. You've made it this far. You've made it this far in life. Quickly, just wondering if... hello, Carrie. Just wondering if Wayne Mason is in here tonight. Wayne Mason. Quickly, does anyone have... I'm just looking for one or two really great Father Day stories. Any fathers out there? Any dads out there? Just some quick stories. This is the Wayne the Great product plug. We'll get to that in a few moments. Woo! I'm so glad. Hello, Sabrina. How are you? I'm so glad to be back right here. This is where I belong, and this is my outlet. Hey, Wayne, what's going on, brother? I've really missed everyone. I've really missed. You have no idea how I've missed sitting in this chair. So very thankful for the technology and the opportunity to sit here on a beautiful Monday night on the south coast of British Columbia and talk to you. Just quickly, Father's Day stories. Wayne Mason on Father's Day. Was there a chance that you went fishing? Was there a greater possibility that you were out in the woods somewhere? I'm going to say yes and yes. So feel free to throw those stories up whenever. You can do it live right now, or if you're watching at your leisure, feel free. The info is out there. Do as you please. Just a quick update on the flag, and I'm sorry for rocking back and forth like this. I'm actually sitting in a chair tonight. Sitting down in a chair. Absolutely went fishing. I'm sure you did. Yes, I'm glad you had a great day on the rock. And again, thank you, Simon, for the work that you did. I'm just looking for some feedback. I absolutely love it. The more I hear the opening theme, the more, and it grows on me. But the first time I heard it was just magical. So thanks again to Joe Desmond and Simon McGinnis. It's up on my Facebook page. It made its debut, and you can watch it whenever you want. And you can share it on your page. You can share it on your page. Flag update. I can't say enough about Heather Doucette, who took on the huge, like Stanley Cup proportion epic tightness. That's not even a word. She had a big responsibility looking after the Canadian flag, and she did so with aces, 11 out of 10. It is now in the hands of Dave Keenan. And I was talking to Dave Keenan yesterday, who told me he had it to a house party. Woo! I miss New Brunswick. I miss Woodstock, New Brunswick house parties. What can you say? So he had it at a house party, and talking with him yesterday, he was telling me names of people that I haven't heard from in a long time, and they were at this party, and they signed it. So I just can't wait. I can't wait. Hello, Nick. How are you, my friend? I just can't wait to get that flag back. I still have friends and family, co-workers out here who haven't signed the flag. So I'm thinking by the time July 1st rolls around, I should be hovering pretty close to the 180, maybe 200 mark. I don't know. I think I'm going to go for 200. Why not? So Wayne, you like the opening of the show? I'm just reading your comment, Wayne. So I think, hey, Lori, how are you? Give Kevin Lockman a hug and a kiss for me. I miss that guy. Hope the weather's okay on the island. Yes, I think, Wayne, I know that the opening for MattTv was spectacular. Spectacular. Bradford Clark. I'm wondering why you're not writing comedy for late night TV. I follow your post simply because you're a funny guy, and some of the stuff you put on there, it makes me chuckle. Again, why are you not writing comedy for late night TV? Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. The reason I'm wearing this, the quick story behind this, I've been wearing this every show since the Canadian flag left this studio. Now, the Canadian flag is due back in British Columbia on the 22nd, which is a Thursday. Hello, Susan. Which is a Thursday. Dave Keenan is bringing it back out in his carry-on luggage. So even if they lose his luggage, it'll be in his carry-on. That's how important this Canadian flag is. So the Canadian flag, I will pick up the flag this weekend, and it'll be behind me next Monday night. The show next Monday night will have my Canadian flag behind me with dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of signatures. I'm so excited. Yes, thank you. Ron Jones, how are you? Prom night, talked about it. Grad night, talked about it. Video, Simon, we all did that. We're all good. Okay, that was the last 24, brought to you by a Nick. So it's been 9-10 days since my last time here in studio. A lot has changed, a lot more space. I could actually have a studio audience here. I kid you not. It's a big garage. I could probably get a dozen people in here. I could actually have a studio audience. You know, the same size studio audience that Conan O'Brien has. No, he's more like 20. I'm kidding. I think it's all laugh track. Actually, you actually never see the crowd. Okay, before I drink the rest of this, let's move right into Wayne the Great product plug. Wayne the Great product plug. Does anyone know what this is? Yes, it is a liquid. It's chocolate, so it must have come from a brown cow. Yes, a recent survey, and take it for what it is. It's a survey that was on Facebook, where it said there was a large percentage of Americans who thought chocolate milk came from brown cows. Uh-oh. Chocolate Insure. No, but you're close. You're close. It's not. It's there is milk, but it's a powdered substance. I'm just looking for whatever the powdered substance is. But it's not Insure. Wow, that is a big. People back east, we know about moose flies, horse flies, deer flies. Do deer flies really exist? And what are the biggest ones? You got house flies, horse flies, moose flies. You would just think by the name that moose fly would be, that would just take a bite out of you. Nestle Quick, no, it's not Ovaltine. No, it's Carnation Breakfast. It's Carnation Breakfast at 6:15 on a Monday. It'd come a long way. Bob Fly, what's Bob Fly? Is that a brand of chocolate milk? No, it's a Carnation Breakfast drink. It's chocolate. But I do have to say, that was Wayne the Great product plug. I do have to say that I was drinking a lot of Insure over the last couple of weeks. Not a lot, a case, maybe 2 a day, which I should really probably check the sugar content in that. But I really noticed a difference. I had a lot more energy. Horse flies are biggest. Moose flies are... Moose flies just bite harder. Okay. Yes, it's another type of fly. So what was the type of fly, did you say, Nick? Would you say a bow fly? Sorry, I didn't know what you were talking about there. Okay. Okay, let's get right into that was Wayne the Great product plug. I'm kind of scrambling around the house. Haven't done this in a while, but haven't lost my touch. 16 minutes after 6 o'clock here on a Monday night. 2 days away. In 2 days, it's summer. Yay! Oh, let's just throw that out there right now. Can anyone tell me, just Google it. Just Google it. Can anyone tell me the exact time that summer begins? When is the summer solstice? Can anyone tell me? Just Google it. It'll probably be, depending on where you are, the Eastern. It'll probably give you an Eastern time. But I'm just looking for the specific time where that instant that the first day of summer starts. Because I can guarantee you I will stay up and I will set my alarm for 1 minute before just to witness it. Just to witness it. Derek Anderson, how are you, my friend? Be safe out there, man. Be safe. Really appreciate what you do, as does everyone else who needs assistance from time to time. Oh, okay, let's do the weather. Let's move right into Toby's Edmundston weather. Tonight in the Edmundston area, showers or thunder showers this evening. I'm just reading this. Listen to how many options. Listen to how many options Environment Canada gives you a forecast. Here's a full forecast for Edmundston. I'll read it word for word. Tonight, showers or thunderstorms this evening. Amount 10 to 15 millimeters, except 25 millimeters in the heaviest showers. Wind southwest 20 kilometers an hour, gusting to 40, becoming south 20 this evening, low of 17. Tuesday, June 20th. Showers, risk of thunder showers in the afternoon. Amount 10 to 15 millimeters. Wind south 20 k an hour, becoming light in the morning. High of 19. UV index 3 or moderate. Showers ending in the evening, then clearing. Risk of thunder showers early in the evening. Low of 14. Did you get it? Did you get it, and do you care? Anyway, that's Toby's Edmundston weather. That was reading really fast without no stuttering. Okay, and Nick says it is June 21st at 12:34 a.m. And Kim says 1 a.m. 1:33 a.m. Okay, well, it's got to be one or the other, right? 1 a.m. Talking about types of flies. Okay, I'm just looking at some stuff Wayne sent me. This is a Carleton County. Oh, that's awesome, Wayne. Okay, Eastern time. 12:24 a.m. Eastern time. 12:24 Eastern. Okay. So that's Eastern time. 11:10:9. 11:10:9. 9:24. Okay. So 9:24. I'm just going to write that down. Sorry. 9:24. June 21st. Okay, so it's actually at night. That's awesome. Okay. So Wednesday night at 9:24. Well, it'll be Wednesday night out here. It'll be early Thursday for you guys. Okay, cool. I'll be up. I won't have to set my alarm because I'll actually still be up at 9:24. William's wacky soundbite of the night. Now, here's the thing. Is William Linder in here tonight? Is William Linder in here tonight? I don't know if he's in here. Hello, Lori. How are you? Just in a few minutes, just in a matter of seconds, I'll be bringing my father-in-law in here, Robert Vespaziani. We're going to have a little chit-chat. That would be Tuesday night, Wednesday morning on the East. That would be Tuesday night. Well, when's the 21st? Lori Crawley's in Vegas. All right. The 21st is a Wednesday. 21st is a Wednesday. Hey, Randy. How are you, my friend? Okay. William, okay, this is, I want to do, I don't think William's in here tonight, but he might get a little mad if he watches it later, but this video that I'm doing tonight, I have a brother-in-law who lives in Toronto who's not on Facebook. He wants to see the interview that I'm doing with his dad. So what I'm going to do, my soundbite of the night, it's actually a commercial that I did. But if I upload it to YouTube, which is what I want to do, which is the only way my brother-in-law can see the video, I don't want it blocked on YouTube. I don't want to be able to not load it because of copyright. So, for that reason only, hey Mooner, for that reason only, I will not play a soundbite tonight, just because I'm afraid I will not be able to upload it to YouTube and then send that link on to my brother-in-law Bob in Toronto. So, no soundbite tonight. It was just me anyway. It was just me doing my Tony Roma's commercial. I just wanted to put it out there because I really want them to renew for a second year. That would be great. Okay, Mike Miller, welcome to the show. Mooner, or anyone that's in the house. Actually, maybe I'll just leave and go get my father-in-law. I'll be right back. You're in Vegas. Lori Crawley is in Vegas, and she's taken the time to watch MattTv. That is just amazing. Okay, just give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. over here.
That okay?
Thanks. You okay? Yeah,
Yep.
good there. All right. So everyone, this is my father-in-law, Robert Vespaziani. When was the last time? When was the last time you were on camera? When was the last time you did an interview?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably a couple of years ago at Queen's University, where I was helping coach and so forth. Football, yeah.
Okay, so we actually, I approached you, I guess it was last week, to come on and do this, and we both have definitely, we take it seriously, right? I take this show seriously, so I have my set of questions for you.
Right.
But the other day, Father's Day, we had the barbecue at Jeff's.
Yeah.
This here is just, I'm just going to show. This is just notes, but this is what you talk about when you're talking to the university coaches and players. Yes.
Yes, like at clinics, or when you're meeting the kids that you coach for the first time, trying to establish a culture, have them buy into it, etc. So we're talking about high school, professional, and university level, because I've coached at all three over the last probably 52, 54 years of coaching.
54 years of coaching,
Yeah.
25 years in the CFL. But let's go back to where you got your beginning in football, because you started off as a player.
Well, we all did. Junior high, high school, university, and then I got dinged. I got a head injury, and those are.
So what age was this?
Well, that was a freshman in university at that time. So what I did was I got an assistantship in the training room, and I learned how to tape, and then gradually I worked into the physical therapy side of things and so forth and so on. So that was my assistantship for 5 years at Springfield College in Springfield, Massachusetts, which was one of the top physical education and teaching schools in the U.S. Now, this goes back to the late 50s is when I graduated from there. 58, undergraduate, 59, got my master's degree. And then, and had 2 children at my master's degree presentation, Bob and Mike, who you know. Mm-hmm. And then the other 3 muskrats came around afterwards. But anyway, and then I high school coach in the U.S. for 9 years, 4 as a head coach and so forth. Coached in the state of New Jersey, Bloomfield College, and then Massachusetts at East Long Meadow, which is in western Massachusetts. And then a guy was, a teammate of mine from Springfield College was recruiting. He had just got the head job at Acadia University in the Indianapolis Valley out there in Nova Scotia. And one thing led to another, and I went out there for an interview, and they offered me a job in physical education and recreation, brand new department. I was on full-time faculty, and I was coaching, assistant coach in football, defensive coordinator, and then head swimming coach.
And what year was this?
1969, I took my family across the border. Yeah.
1969. But I just want to go back to your injury, your concussion.
Yeah.
When you're playing, when you realized that your playing days were over, like how did that, was that not devastating to you, or did you just go, okay, and then just
No,
move
I
on?
knew the only reason why I got into teaching and physical education was 2 coaches of mine at Quincy High School, Quincy, Massachusetts, which was a fairly big high school at that time, a lot of kids, and I was a bit of a punk. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was surly. I had a chip on my shoulder and all that stuff. Long story short, my football coach and baseball coach caught me doing something that I wasn't supposed to be doing. They said, hey, you got two choices. Come see us after school, or we report it to the poor assistant principal that has to be the hatchet man in all schools. Right? Everybody hates a poor guy. So they didn't tell me anything that my uncles hadn't told me and so forth. I was brought up by my aunt. But they validated everything that they told me. And hearing it from someone else that you respected, like your coaches, not that I didn't respect my uncles, I certainly did. I love them very much. And they put me in the right track. I had to then make up courses, and so I had to go a year of what we call in the States prep school. It's 1 year beyond high school. And I got a scholarship to a local prep school, so I didn't have to live in and cost me all that money. And I got a baseball and football scholarship there. And that helped pay half of my expenses and so forth. It was a great experience. The first time in my life that I ever had to pay for pencils, books, and anything else. You know, a public school guy, right? So it was a great experience anyway. And then I got enough credits to get into where I wanted to go, Springfield College. And so I knew what my track was. So even though I had the injury, I tried to stay close to it, but I still had to make money. I was a daddy then. I got married coming into my junior year at university. And my grades went from probably out of a class of 300 and something, I had a rate in the middle. By the time I graduated and then got into my master's program, I was in the top 25 or 30 kids. And that was strictly because of discipline myself. I've now got responsibility. I better pass. I better do well. I've got one youngster and then another one shortly after to feed. And we lived in a trailer right on campus. There were about 20 trailers, and they were originally put there for the guys that came out of the service. At that time it was the Korean War, and then Vietnam and so forth and so on. So anyway, that was the...
Okay, so you've now moved the family from the U.S. to Acadia.
Yep.
So you're starting life over again in Canada.
Yes, because I wanted to try my coaching expertise at the next level, the university, and I couldn't at that time get back to my alma mater, although they had a couple of openings, and I got turned down a couple of times. And I said, the heck with it. I had this opportunity. It's a 2-year contract. We come back after the 2 years university experience. I'll send resumes out in New England and the Maritimes and see if I can lock onto a university job.
So you went to Canada
That was
with
my plan.
hoping maybe that you could get back
Go
into
back
the,
stateside.
Okay, all right.
But when I got there and the head guy left, he come into my office in April, dropped all the recruiting forms on my desk and all the contacts we had made stateside to bring U.S. kids up to Acadia University and kids from Ontario, Ottawa, so forth, Quebec. So it was, he and I had to do all the recruiting. So I would go south and live in at relatives' houses for overnight, and then go recruit the high schools stateside. And so he left, and they offered me the position, and I said I wouldn't take it unless they upped the recruiting money. If they expected me to get more Canadian content, there was very little football played at that time in the Maritimes. As far as high schools, it was just starting, and New Brunswick, and little PEI out there. So I said, I got to go further. So I said, I got to get into Quebec, and I got to get into, of course, Ontario, which has a ton of schools.
So, but how did you know that's where the talent was? Just because no one had been there before, or you just through the grapevine?
I've been the assistant with him for a couple of years, and then we had, and then we traveled, went to clinics in the summer. That the at that time it was the Ottawa Rough Riders put on, and then the Argos, and then Hamilton, and then you would make contact with the high school kids that way.
Well, so when you're doing your University Acadia stuff and you're into these centers where they have CFL teams, is that where you start making some contacts?
No, yes. We made good
to
contacts.
help yourself out. I mean,
Yeah.
like later on in your career.
Yeah, well, I at that time a coach from the Eskimos. That's when they were. That's when they. You know that's the golden era for the Eskies. That was that 5 straight Grey Cups with famous quarterback. And he went back to the U.S.
I can't even think of his name.
I'll let you think on it. All your folks out there remember it.
I'm drawing a blank.
Anyway, that's when they won their 5 consecutive. And I was coaching at Winnipeg when I went. But anyway,
I want to say Flutie, but I know that's not.
No. You're picking the quarterback.
Yeah.
No. This was. Yeah. But Flutie came into the league later, much later. But anyway.
Moon?
Yeah.
Warren Moon. Okay.
And so your question was on the.
So you're going to these centers.
Yes, but some of them come to you.
Mm-hmm.
They come. Each club has Canadian Scout, right? They go to the Canadian universities, and they evaluate, meet the coach, talk about their players, this, that, and the other. But now that's in those days. Now it's done much better organized. It's organized by the CFL, and they have lists of kids eligible, et cetera, et cetera. So it makes it much easier for the university coaches. Now it's up to them to make their contacts and see if this kid can get in academically, number one, get an education, and number two, his prowess as compared to other Canadian athletes. And then the U.S. thing you treat a little differently, okay? Because it was, in my mind, I'm at a Canadian university. I want to make sure the majority of the kids are Canadian guys. However, let me say this about the Maritimes, and I know you've got a lot of friends and relatives listening in. There's always been a close relationship between the New England states, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, that line, and especially strengthened when the Sydney mines and all those others closed down. A lot of people immigrated down the coast to New England, and since a lot of the St. Francis Xavier, St. Mary's University, St. Dunstan's, which is now University of PEI, were Catholic orientated, like they had a strong Jesuit influence, etc. They were people usually from the States, so there was always a connection. And the Jesuits back in New England would be recommending kids to go to school at their alma mater up there in the Maritimes. So it was there was a close contact. So you would not normally have kids applying anyway, stateside to come up because of their parents and so forth. But not to the extent that you're handpicking, like, I want the best football players out of Western Massachusetts or into the Boston area or whatever. So you were cherry picking some of those kids and bringing them in. And the selling point at that time, people, was that you could go to Acadia at that time, and the other universities in our league. We had 7 playing football with Dalhousie and little UPEI and Mount A, which is still in it, and so forth. And you would be home in April sometime, where our finals are. a full month ahead of the kids in New England at that time. So a kid could get a job and work a full 4 months ahead of his buddies. And at that time, the tuitions were, like $500-600 or less. But the living expenses were more. And not cost you much money at the end of it. And then get some aid on campus. There were always assistantships available and so forth. So it was less expensive for them. Unless they went to a state university like University of Massachusetts, etc., whose tuitions would be a little more than ours at that time, but affordable. But not everybody could get into the state universities, so private universities are quite expensive. So anyway, that was the university influence here. So my career went from and I taught at my alma mater at Springfield. After I got my master's, they hired me there, and I taught the in health ed, and I ran all the physical therapy labs and all that stuff. And then I decided I'm not getting anywhere with what I love, and that's I want to coach. And I had an opportunity to go to New Jersey, and I left after 1 year teaching at Springfield College. So I crossed the border with 10 years teaching experience, of which 9 was high school, and 6 years of that was as a head coach and an athletic director and a director of physical education at East Longmeadow High School in Western Mass. And
but you knew that you could coach university, so you coached Acadia.
Well, I didn't know.
But somewhere in your mind, you knew that.
I wanted the next level.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanted to challenge yourself.
I wanted the challenge at the next level, and that's what happened later after 10 years at Acadia, getting into the CFL.
10 years at Acadia?
Yeah, and then 28 coaching and administrative in the CFL.
So you're at your end of your 10th year at Acadia.
Yeah.
When did talks
begin?
Like, who was your in guy to
All
get
right.
the CFL?
The in guy was a Canadian scout from Edmonton, who told his head coach about me that he asked me once coming to my practice, watching the kids at Acadia, and then he and I sitting down later talking about who I think can play at that level and blah blah blah. And he said, "Would you ever think of? Would you like to be a guest coach?" I said, "Sure." They could bring you into their camp, and you assist at some position. One of the positions on defense or offense, and that's what I did. That's how I got my foot in the door. And the head coach at the time was Ray Yock, and Ray then took the job at Winnipeg in 1978. And in 79, he offered me a job after seeing me work with them at their camp in 78.
So 79, you're in Winnipeg.
Yeah. I left Acadia. At that point, I was an associate professor. Everybody looked at me cross-eyed and said, "What are you doing?" with full tenure. And I said, "No, I gotta try." "Well, don't quit. Take a leave of absence, and if you still want to do it at the end of that, fine." So they gave me a leave of absence. The rest was history. I just liked it. I stayed, and that I knew that I'd have to keep my suitcase packed. You're only as good as your last win.
Well, Winnipeg, Calgary, BC, and then you ended with Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Well, those are the 4 teams out of those 28 years. At different times, I was at 3 times at, I think all of them except Saskatchewan. 3 different times, and I was a head coach at Stampeders for 3 years, 2 years, and then they fired me.
Have you ever forgiven Paul McCallum for missing that field goal in the Western Final?
No, poor guy. He took a lot of heat for that.
I couldn't believe you missed it. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
That was.
Anyway,
Uh,
so it's been a good run. And anybody out there that's in a job that they love, God bless you, because there's a lot of people that are unhappy in their jobs. I'm very blessed, a great family. I have a very strong faith, and football's been my passion.
mm-hmm.
So I love teaching future coaches. I love the coaching aspect, hands-on, and I love the preparation and the chess game. And I'm also an advocate of a real hyper advocate of the safety factor. Finally, the eyes have opened in a lot of, especially NFL.
Are
And,
you happy with the way
head-
they're looking at
the way-
concussions and stuff?
Well,
And trying to
yes.
implement different
well,
protocol?
the protocol there, quite frankly, if they didn't straighten it out, and like I email all my coaching friends, I said, if you guys don't straighten it out, I said, the mothers in North America, because who the hell's going to let their kid play football if you don't straighten this thing out? Now, you cannot relegate out the possibility of injuries. It's going to occur, the nature of the sport. However, by the rules, protecting your quarterback by not blocking below the waist. I mean, I can remember when I played, we would lose guys on kickoffs because someone's taking a 40-yard run at them and knocking their legs out, clipping or hitting them. Well, now we've eliminated that. Now it's the head. You know, the old adage was head in front, head always led in your blocks, this, that, and the other. Now they're teaching it like rugby. That's the way I like to liken it. It's almost, if you watch a rugby game and a football game, the kids in rugby, even though they got a little to protect their ears so they don't get cauliflowered or chewed up like mine, the head is usually behind when they're making a hit there. And I give kudos to the Seahawks, because their coaching staff has emphasized it when they were together in university in the NCAA, and they've emphasized it with their guys. And now that thing has grown, and we got the rugged style of tackling is now taught at all levels stateside and into Canada as well.
Well, that goes into players and people in the organization buying in to what's being.
Well, the toughest thing was to buy in some of the coaches that were my vintage, who were taught differently. It's no different than hockey. I got a guy handling my minor hockey that played for a fella that boarding, high sticking, that type of thing was a way of life, and he's going to teach the way he played. And it's the wrong thing for the kids. Absolutely ridiculous for the kids. And you had guys like that coaching football as well. We used to keep water from the guys. I mean, stuff like that. I mean, I played and I was coaching when coaches were still doing that. So I've seen a lot of good changes, but there's still a ways to go. And I think everybody has bought in. Some reluctantly, but I know the parents, and especially moms, it's a little more palatable for them when they see us emphasizing those things. But there's no guarantees. What you will see is a drop, and there has been a drop in our severe injuries and so forth. In the States, they keep great stats. Of all the injuries, minor, high school, and NCAA, football, NIA, pros, etc. So the stats go way back to the 30s, where there were fatalities ridiculously high. Of course, we wore helmets so we could fold and put in our pockets.
Yeah. If
now I'll tell you something interesting in that, my man. Okay, Joe Paterno. I don't know if a lot of people listening tonight would remember Joe. Great coach at Penn State. Bad move by Penn State, getting rid of him and then blaming him for the ridiculous child molestations that took place by one of his main guys, one of his coaches. But Joe was sitting at a rules meeting in a National Football Coaches Association, of which they're all members, and of which I'm a over 40 some odd year member. And it came to injuries and this, that, and the other, and they kept talking, what can we do to reduce the head-in? About we can change the rules with no doing this, no doing that, and they discussed it. And Joe's not saying anything. And they said, well, Joe, what do you think? And Joe said, well, I'd take the masks off the helmets. And there was silence. What do you mean? Take the damn face masks off the helmets. You see how many guys are going to stick their face in there like they're doing now, and spearing people and the rest of it with no face mask. Well, they never did that. But the mystique with what has built up in the NFL with the sound of the pads, everything's plastic and the bang, and that's the big, the big deal.
Well,
Did you hear that?
They use all that for like branding and marketing, and that goes in all their promos. And
I know that. I know that. But we now know, know that because of repeated concussions, what's happened to some of our name athletes, etc.
You just look at Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
Like
no, Sid, that was awful.
one more hit to the head,
that
and
was
it would be a shame to see a star like that. We got a few more minutes here. I just want to, if there were a room full of, because I know there's a lot of people out there who have kids that are getting ready to play sports. Actually, there's a lot of people out there. Hockey is huge. Hockey is huge in Woodstock, New Brunswick. We're in the Maritimes. If you were sitting in front of, a bunch of
guys that are going to play for
rookies, like what's the message that you can tell them right now that will stay with them, not just playing hockey, but how they can apply it to
okay, all right. There's a
everyday life, because what you have in here, you can it's everyday life.
Well, it's life.
Yeah.
It's life. What you like to get. Well, first of all, I'd address them and welcome them. We recruited them. Obviously, we wanted them there, etc. And I'll give you a sample of what the last one I did at Queens and some of the things that I touched upon. And I wrote on the boards, CARDS, C-A-R-D-S. And they looked at you cross-eyed, and then I got into it with them and the veterans that were there. And I said, let me just put this up here and tell you what we want here and what I want, particularly from you guys. Now, I was coaching defense at the time and defensive line. And I said, the C in CARDS means commitment. I said, you've made a commitment by coming to this university. You've made a commitment in life by being the best you can be, et cetera, et cetera. So commitment is number one. And you made a commitment already. You've been accepted here at this university. You wanted to play football, and that's why we went after you, because we think you can play and contribute. And so commitment is number one. All right. Now, the A in CARDS is attitude. It's a state of mind, but it's a very important state of mind. You've got to have the proper attitude to fit in here, okay? You've got to have a positive attitude, whether it's in your classroom, in the dormitory that you're now a member of, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever it is, you've got to have a great attitude. A great attitude will equal great results.
But if they didn't have a great attitude, they probably wouldn't be sitting in front of you right then and there.
Well, you know what?
Or you might have to give them a little attitude adjustment.
Attitudes have to be tweaked.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes kids you fall back to some old bad habits sometimes, and you go from being a kingpin in a let's say a high school, and then all of a sudden you got to build up your persona again at another level. And then if you think you can play pro, which is a very small percent, for the U.S. guys and for the Canadian kids as well. Less chance of making that. I think it's only a couple of % out of all the ones that graduate that make a roster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, out of the 30 some odd teams in the U.S. and our Canadian teams up here. So that level is really, really tough. But everybody, you know, so attitude is number one. And if you got a bad attitude, it usually comes out in anger and pessimism and everything else. Mm-hmm. So we want to do away with that. We don't want that to be a part of our makeup of our team. And if we have to change attitudes, we will. And if we can't, then we may have to say goodbye. Mm-hmm. And then the R is respect. I mean, respect for the program, the coaches, the teachers, your classmates, your teammates, and ultimately for yourself. Mm-hmm. If you have no self-respect, then, man, you know, you got an uphill road to be successful here. Not only you're here for an education, number one, but you're also here because you got a special interest in football. Okay. D would be discipline. How disciplined are you? Okay. Discipline. There was an old saying I've used for years. There's two pains in life. Yeah. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You choose. Two pains in life. The pain of discipline, disciplining your life, whatever it might be, or the pain of regret.
Yeah, I take the first one.
No, but that's golden. I mean, so we push that for them, and obviously discipline is based on action, whether a player or a coach demonstrates responsibility and all that stuff.
You set guidelines
do
and
the
expect
right
them
thing.
to
Do the right thing, do things in the right way, be the best you can be. Okay, guys? If you follow those things, fine. And S would be sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Because if you're in a team sport, what's important is contributing and helping one another. Mm-hmm. It's not all about you, it's about us.
Well, you have to get rid of the I and the me and turn it into us and we.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And ours.
And ours, yes.
Right. Not mine. And once you do that and continue to do that, the example comes like a classroom teacher. I may put out the first day of class, here's the rules, regulations, guys, but then if I don't follow through, if I'm not consistent, then the kids don't buy in. They know. They know. And anyway, those are just some of the things. We could go on for hours here.
But we got 5 minutes left, so I just want to end it by, I was telling people earlier in the week, or a week and a half ago, when I knew that you were going to be on the show, that you have a connection to Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
I wish I had 10% connection.
So everyone knows who Dwayne Johnson is. Everyone knows who The Rock is. So he was playing University for Miami, yes?
Oh, yeah.
So you can tell the story.
He was on a national championship team. Anyway, we ended up bringing him into camp at Calgary. I was coaching defensive line at Calgary. We brought him in. Great guy. I can't say enough good things about Dwayne. He's a great individual.
So how old was he?
But it wasn't good enough.
So Dwayne Johnson, who played University for Miami, was not good enough to play CFL football.
No, because we have a ratio in Canadian football. I had the ratio that I inherited when I went there I was working for Wally Bono at the time, and Wally always wanted two Canadian positions on the defensive front four. So that meant that you had to recruit some pretty good Canadian kids to hold those down, and then fill in the other positions with your American guys, right? Mm-hmm. So it didn't matter what skill was compared to the Americans. My lecture to the guys always would be, the first day, if this was the pros, I would dismiss my Canadian players and I would keep the Yanks sitting there, non-Canadians, and I'd explain to them, you're going to be evaluated against other U.S. talent, not evaluated against the Canadian kids that are playing the same position you are.
So he lost out to...
So right away, don't look at that nose tackle position or this other. That's, for us, is a Canadian position. Unless we suddenly change it because we find a couple of other Canadian starters on defense that can play other positions we didn't anticipate, as good as what we brought into camp of the American talent, then we'll make some ratio changes there. So that that eliminated a lot of people coming up to you after practice. Hey, Coach, how come I'm not getting a shot? So and so is it? I can beat his butt, Bob. I said, no, you're not going. Forget about that. Okay. Those are the guys over there. My veterans from last year, they're the U.S., and the new guys we brought in like you, rookies. You got to beat them out. And that's what I mean when I say, sure, he played for a national championship team now. Now you go to another level. And Dwayne was, we were going to bring him back.
And what year is this? So we're talking about The Rock before he went on to like the WWF.
Yes.
And went on to be this global superstar.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was in the 80s.
In the 80s, okay.
And see, Miami. Anyway, it was 84, 85, something around there.
Mid-80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Dwayne, then long story short, I don't even know if he played some exhibition games for us. At that time, we played 4. We kept him on the practice roster for the season. And then Wally, in the off-season, Coach Bono asked me, he said, call up Dwayne. What do you think? I said, Coach, I think he's going to be hard-pressed to make it, but if you want to bring him in, fine. He's a good guy. He's not going to disrupt anything here.
So you make a personal phone call to Dwayne
Personal
Thompson.
phone call to Dwayne, and Dwayne says, Coach, I don't think so. I've decided I want to. His father and his grandfather were wrestlers. He's a Samoan background, and a very strong culture, very family oriented culture. And he said,
where is he when you call him?
In California.
He's in California.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was. He said, I'm just going up there for an interview at that time. What was it? The big one. What's the fella's name for the wrestling?
McMahon.
McMahon had his. He had like a place in Long Island, New York, and he'd fly these prospects in there. So I said to Dwayne, I said, "Oh, you're going to learn wrestling holds and all that." I said, "No." He said, "It's a full week of testing and personality things where they try to, and then new name. You're going to be the villain. Or you're going to be the good guy. What's your character again?"
This is a male soap opera.
Amen. I mean, yeah, exactly. And then he says, "Well, where's the wrestling come in?" He said, "Then, if I'm accepted, and he's a well-spoken guy, as you know, they send you out with different wrestling groups, and you learn on the road with the guys, and you talk and wrestle against each other, but you're also together all the time."
Well, everything's
So
we all know the behind the scenes of the wrestling.
But anyway, so Dwayne didn't come back. The next time,
did you even have an opportunity to tell him, like, "Hey, I don't think it's going to work out here," or did he jump the gun and say, "Hey, I'm not coming back"?
No, because Wally, we were inviting him to come back in. So I said, okay.
But before you invited him, did he jump the gun and tell you the news, like, "Hey, don't save your speech, I'm doing this WWF"?
Yes.
Okay,
No. Dwayne's a pretty honest guy. He could see that his best route was trying the other.
Yeah.
Especially with his grandpa and his dad as mentor. So that's what he did. And the next time I hear his name was the same season. He was coming up to wrestle in Calgary.
With the Saddle Dome?
Yeah, one of the players come up and said, "Coach, you remember Dwayne Johnson?" I said, "Yeah, he's going to be wrestling." "You're kidding." Yeah, so he was wrestling there in Calgary. Yeah, a great guy. And then I started following his career. And then he went into the movies, and he hasn't looked back.
Oh, he's in everything.
He
Like
hasn't
he's
looked
doing
back.
voiceovers. Like he just seems like a.
And like I
super
said
nice guy.
before, if I had been smart, I would have got maybe 2% of them would be pretty good, right? You and I would be doing this in a brand new studio.
Yeah, we would be doing it in a brand new studio.
Anyway,
awesome.
Been a good run.
Yeah, no, listen, I really appreciate you coming in here. This is
Anytime you want to talk football or
yeah,
whatever, I enjoy it. I love it, and I'm going to keep going. Even though a little setback this year health-wise, I'm going to try to help someone.
So what high schools in Southern Ontario? We have Ton Campbell is in Hamilton right now. Do you always deal with the same specific high schools, or do you find that other high schools are reaching out to you for help?
Oh no! It's only a couple
okay.
local.
Yeah.
I haven't made any big overtures. I enjoy coaching the coaches, really, and then once in a while if I can, I get there when they're first starting so that I can work some drills, make some corrections, coach up the coaches, coach up the kids. So at this point, it's a lot of working with the young coaches and stuff.
Okay.
It's like the trip to Carleton this year that I didn't quite make. I was invited there to be with them for the season. I was sick and I didn't realize that I had the pancreatic cancer deal, and so that took priority. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't physically. I couldn't do it, but I followed them, and they did decently. But the reason why I went there was a young coach had got the coordinator's job there on defense that I had worked with in Queens, and he got the job, and he said, "Can I clinic with you during the summer?" I said, "Sure." He used to drive down from Ottawa and would sit and would have our, computers and this, that, and would talk football, would look at games, would talk the skills, all defensive lines. And so I had to coach him up so that he could coach up his coach up. So anyway, it was, I enjoy it. And let me say this, the young guys that are in coaching in Canada and in that I've come in contact with, very respectful. A lot of times you look at guys my age and the rest of it, oh Christ, they're dinosaurs, they're this, they're that. If you've been in it as long as I have actively, you're not a dinosaur, or else you would have been run off a long time ago.
Yeah.
I hate that term. But anyway.
Okay. We still have quite an audience here. Hey, listen, thanks for tuning in tonight. We're going to wrap it up. You guys are in town for, what, another week or so?
Yeah. Yeah, we go back.
You'll be
Tuesday.
Well, you'll be here. My flag will be here this weekend, so I'll make sure you and Sheila sign it before you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll have a brand new MattTv tomorrow night. We're a little overtime tonight, but give me some feedback on the new show opening that was put together by Simon McGinnis and Joe Desmond. Just give me some feedback. You can see it on my Facebook page. You can see it on my YouTube page. Thanks again, CoachVes, for coming in.
You're welcome, my boy.
We'll be back here live on Facebook tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 Eastern, 10 Atlantic, 10:30 in Newfoundland. My name is Matthew. This is Robert. This is my father-in-law. This is MattTV.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to
your sister.
Oh, yes. Yeah, this is probably the first time. Jill's probably, I don't know if Jill's watching.
No, Jill's a great gal. I met her first
she met
time
Jill last
year. And great gal, and that was super. Super that 24 people went down to see
no,
it.
that was
great.
Yeah, thank you. That'll be a hard weekend to top. We'll see you back here live tomorrow night on Facebook. This is MattTV, now and always from sea to sea. Bye.